I'm going to record, and then we're going to provide this. Hopefully, we can use this not only for this year, but for future years on how to fill out your timesheet. So, welcome existing AmeriCorps and any future AmeriCorps that are coming our way. This is a quick tutorial on how do you fill out your timesheets, and we're starting with the week after the orientation. So, can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Oh, so if you, I don't know if you've downloaded the kind of GoToMeeting, who is a no?
Allie.
Okay.
Yeah, I just have it on like the browser.
Okay. I'm not sure what's happening, but what I'll do is, Ali, I'll send you the recording so you'll get a video of this, and
Okay.
that way you can
Okay.
watch it. But if you want, please follow through if you can. If you can't, then that's okay. You can just watch. But right now I'm on the Encore report. This is the link that I sent you. So if you look in your meeting invite, it will show you all the different steps. And I don't know how many different steps I added here. 14 different steps on how to fill out your timesheet. We're going to go through it for the first day. That way you can see how to do it. If you do have any future problems, just let us know. We're always happy to help out. I've heard it works better on Chrome than on Explorer, but for me it just pops up on Explorer and I haven't had any problems. So you could use either one. So you have to make sure the program year says 2017, 2018. When you get to the link, sometimes it'll show a different year. You click submit. Then you scroll down to Mentor Colorado and you'll select AmeriCorps member. And Caitlin, you'll be selecting the director. It'll give you your username and password. I created an account for Jane Doe. I'm going to plug in her password and log in. Sometimes it kicks you back out and you have to redo those steps. Most of the time it is pretty accurate. So when I enter my timesheet, time tracking, I go here, enter timesheet, then I will select a period. So we are looking at last week. We choose the period that we would like, and this will pop up. So when you're doing your timesheets, you will have the choice of either fundraising hours, training hours, and service hours. Again, fundraising can't be more than 10%, training can't be more than 20%, and service should be at least 80%. So last week was the orientation. As you'll see, I've put your start dates as October 3rd, so you won't be able to insert hours for October 2nd. Because it was a Mentor Colorado orientation, you're going to plug in those hours. So if we go back to the meeting invite, you will see on your first day, October 2nd, 6.5 hours. And this is the description I provided for you. So it's just cut and paste this week. And I will go back over here. So you'll put, oh, sorry, I'm going on October 2nd. So October 3rd, 6.5 hours. Please note, you can put quarter hours, so you can put 6.25, you can put 7.75, but you cannot put any other fractions. So you can't put 6.33 or 6.1. So it goes only in 15-minute increments. You will put your lunch. And remember we discussed in the orientation this section here where it says lunch taken, not included in hours. And the total hours was 6.5. So you'll do the same for each day. Putting in your description. Because we were meeting with host sites at that day, I included the lunch on October 3rd. And so you'll have 7.5 hours. If you had to leave early, or if there was another, if you came late, or for any other reason you weren't there for those hours, please adjust that accordingly. So you can see we have the hours down on what we were focusing on and the lunch. And again, your lunch option. On-duty lunch taken, meeting with host site mentoring agencies included in total hours. So included in the 7.5 hours. And we will just do that for the last one. So we are complete. If you were in your school on Friday, if you were, this goes up until Sunday. So that's why we're completing it on Monday. So if you've received approval to do hours on the weekend, or there was an activity or an event on the weekend that you attended, um, please feel free to insert those hours on Saturday or Sunday. Those hours, if you're working, should have some type of approval where it's either Caitlin or your mentoring agency or your site supervisor that said, yes, we'd like you to work on these hours. If you did your training, the mandatory reporting training, then feel free to include those hours on the day that you did it and send Caitlin your certificate related to that. Because I was talking, I wasn't paying attention. It's 6 hours on the Thursday. So I'm going to enter that on the Thursday. So each week you would do that, whether you're working with your target students, whether you're providing classroom support, whether you're doing planning, preparation, or administrative tasks, or whether you were implementing in-school, after-school, or summer programming. Um, if you come up with another category that doesn't fit within these 4 categories, please let me know. You can always put any kind of admin work here, and any kind of work where you're working with students in one of these buckets. Hopefully they all apply. Once you've inserted all of your hours and you've put in your description for each of the days, you can save it if you want to work on it later. So if you are the type of person who likes to do it day by day, you can insert a day and then press save. Or if you are done and you've completed it for the week, feel free to hit authorize and submit. Because Jane Doan isn't a real person, I cannot hit authorize and submit. It will confuse people and Surf Colorado as well. But for you, click that authorize and submit. When you go back, and I'm not going to save this now, it will give you different breakdowns of your hours. You can even see it up here. How many fundraising hours, how many training hours, how many service hours, and your total hours. Again, reaching 1,700 hours is the goal. It tells you here how many hours you have left. And your expected end date, we put the 31st just to be on the safe side, but we anticipate that people will finish before that date. Does anyone have any questions or having any difficulty with their signing in or their hours?
I have a question. Oh, nope, go for it.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Tara.
Oh, no, I was just going to ask if we are allowed to count any volunteer that we do with kids, volunteering that we do with kids outside of our host school, unrelated to them.
So it would require your host school to approve that and to somehow oversee it. I'm guessing.
Oh, okay.
I'm guessing the host school will want you to do the programming with them as opposed to with another organization or another school. So
Okay.
you can always ask, but I think their preference is to have you work with them. And for our goal, it's mainly to work with the one school, the community, and in the summer you might not be able to do that, but we want to provide as much support for that school as possible.
Okay.
Do we have another question, Sammy?
Yeah, I had a question. I've been in the Partners of Delta office today, and they were encouraging me to do a mentor, like the community-based mentor program with them as well, and just get one extra kid to be mentoring kind of outside the school. And I don't know if that would be counted towards service hours.
Yeah, it could be counted towards service hours. I think if you could, ideally, if it was somebody in the school, we are providing these to service sites. But you really are supporting both the school and the mentoring agency. So I think finding that right balance. If they're saying, and I don't know what the language they're using, but if they're saying we think this would be a nice idea, we always go back to the position description whenever members are asked to do things. And for us, the position description really describes the support of the school and the school community. So if your host site or your mentoring agency is asking you to do things outside of your school community, which will happen in the summer, that's okay. But I think the primary focus is to support young people at the school so you can develop that relationship. So I think
Yeah.
if you could say, we spoke to Mentor Colorado and they were really pushing us to support a young person at the school, that would be ideal. I don't know, Caitlin, if you had any other thoughts about that.
Yeah, I would just want to go back to that position description and maybe just run it by Jamie to confirm that if it is a student in the community not attending the school, or I know, Sammy, you're at 2 schools, so if that student happens to not be at either of those schools, I would just probably want to double check it with Jamie. I see what you're saying, Brad, that it's service to the agency, but I'd want to double check before we jumped in and found out maybe they didn't count.
Sure. Yeah, so we can get back to you.
If the student is at one of the 2 schools, then it should be just fine if I do more of